Wednesday, the one day a week where logic clocks out early, common sense ghosts us, and reality decides to freestyle without a script. If today already made you stop, blink twice, and whisper, "There's no way," congratulations, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. These are the stories that make you question humanity, adulthood, and whether everyone else got a handbook you somehow missed. So take a breath, lower your expectations, and prepare yourself, because it's about to get weird, petty, and painfully relatable. This is What the Fork Wednesday. Let's go!
Hi, how we doing? I'll be doing good. All right, welcome in, besties. You know I love y'all. Listen, welcome in. It's Ask B, and today, is What the Fork Wednesday. Okay, the show where we gather midweek, take one long look at reality, and collectively agree that none of this makes sense anymore. Now, if you're just getting here, go ahead, settle in, say hey in the chat, tell me where you're watching from, and let me know on a scale of 1 to what the actual fork your week was like. Because if today already felt weird before noon, you are among friends, okay? What the Fork Wednesday exists for one reason. Some things happen in life that don't require advice or healing or growth. They require witnesses. This is that room. There are those stories, the kind where you replay it later and still can't believe it was real. This is the show where grown adults act brand new. Technology turns on us personally, and common sense is nowhere to be found. Nobody's fixing anything today. We're just telling the truth and laughing so we don't scream about it. Now, if you're new here, this is Ask a Bee. We read real letters from real people, and I respond honestly, humor included. Some days are thoughtful, some days are deep. And then there's, Wednesday. Wednesday is unhinged on purpose. And yes, if you noticed, we got a little extra chaos in the building today. You met VB in the cold open. Well, she'll be popping in to read the letters and help us keep things moving because apparently reality needed a backup today. So here's today's works. We're going to kick off things with a quick story of my own because something always happens early in the week that sets the tone. And this week did not disappoint. After that, we're going to roll into our first letter. And that's where VB will jump in. If you got a What the Fork moment of your own, feel free to drop it in the chat. I'm not promising we'll solve anything, but I am promising you'll feel less alone. All right. Deep breath. Let's get into it because if this week has taught us anything, it's that expectations are extremely dangerous. So, hold up. Now then. All righty. Before we get into letters today, every day, I want to share something that's been sitting with me for a little while. And it didn't start funny. But it ended funny, okay? Which honestly feels very on brand for a Wednesday, right? You never, ever have something happen in your life that doesn't make sense years later. I mean, ever. Like at the time, all you can feel is irritation or hurt. And then one day, your brain finally connects the dots and you're like, oh, that's what that was about. This isn't a big dramatic moment. Nobody yelled. Nobody stormed out. It was just one of those slow realizations, that sneaks up on you and it makes you laugh at all the timing of it all, you know? And what makes it true, what the fork moment is that it involves grief, the internet, bad timing, and the universe having absolutely no chill. So let me tell you what finally clicked for me, right? Because I didn't see it coming when it happened, but now I can't unsee it. Oh, so my mom, right, passed in 2020. I don't know how else to say this except that the timing was aggressively wrong. Because right around the same time the internet collectively decided to turn the name Karen into a cultural phenomenon, not a nickname, not a joke you hear once or twice, a full blown personality type, memes, videos, public shaming, and my mom's name was Karen. At first, I was furious, okay, and not in a dramatic way, in that quiet, simmering way where everything feels personal, even when you know it technically really isn't, right? I remember scrolling and thinking, are y'all serious right now? Because I was already grieving, already raw, already trying to keep my footing. And suddenly every other post felt like it was poking a bruise I didn't ask to have touched. It honestly felt like the universe was testing me just to see how much I could carry at once. But grief does this thing where if you sit with it long enough, it starts rearranging the furniture inside your head. And eventually, I stopped reacting to the name itself and started thinking about my mom as a person, not the version I lost, okay? The version who lived. And that's when it hit me, almost against my will, that my mother was absolutely a Karen, not the internet version, okay? The original, the blueprint. My mom was strong because she had to be. She and my grandmother, they both raised me. She was a single mom for most of my life. My parents divorced when I was about 4 or 5 years old. And when you grow up watching, you know, how she didn't complain because she was bored or entitled, she complained because things mattered. If things if something was wrong at work, she fixed it. If something was being taken advantage of, she stopped it. She stepped in. If her family needed protecting, she didn't hesitate. She wasn't loud for attention. She was loud for results. And if a manager needs to be involved, trust me, the manager was getting involved. The more I thought about it, the more I realized she would have owned the meme era completely. She would have laughed her ass off at it. Seriously, she would have sent me screenshots and say, well, they're not wrong. She would have. She would have made jokes about it at dinner. She would have leaned into it with zero shame because she knew exactly who she was. And I hate admitting this, but it took me almost 5 years to get there emotionally because the truth is, the name thing wasn't happening in isolation. It was happening on top of loss after loss after loss. Between 2019 and now, I've lost so many people that sometimes it feels unreal when I list them out. My mother, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my sister, a stepdad, a best friend, two uncles, and aunt. It was like every time I got my footing back, life came through and said, actually, not yet. And somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, I almost lost myself too. I survived a flesh-eating bacterial infection in my arm. 27% survival rate, guys. It's not a sentence you ever expect to casually say out loud, right? And even that felt like it got swallowed by everything else that was happening. There wasn't time to process one thing before the next thing showed up. Then a few months ago, my husband had a heart attack. And suddenly the floor drops out again, and you realize how thin the margin really is between normal life and everything changing overnight. So yeah, relationships get complicated in seasons like that, okay? I'm the oldest of 6 on my dad's side. I'm not as close to them as I'd like to be, but I want to be. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get a vehicle running so I can see my dad. He just had back surgery, but life has this way of stacking obstacles when you're already tired. And none of it is dramatic, okay? None of it is anyone's fault. It's just heavy. And here's what the fork part I'm sorry, here's the what the fork part of all this nonsense. None of it makes sense when you zoom out. There's no storyline. There's no lesson neatly wrapped in a bow in this. It's just life being loud and relentless and occasionally ridiculous about its timing. But when I think about my mom now, I don't think about the memes first anymore. I think about her standing there, arms crossed, completely unbothered, saying exactly what needed to be said and not apologizing for it. I think about how she taught me to speak up and to handle business, to protect my people and to not shrink just because the world gets uncomfortable. So, yeah, sorry, I miss her. So, yeah, I still hate the timing. I still hate that her name turned into a punchline right when I lost her. But if I'm honest, and Wednesdays are about honesty too, she left me exactly what I needed to survive everything that came after. And that's not a bad legacy, not for a Karen. So y'all go right ahead. You can say your Karen stuff all you want to, because let me tell you, she owned it. She would have very much owned it, and I would have been very much proud of her for it. Okay, so, pardon me, y'all. That was a good one. I just needed to get that out, I think, because we're all learning and growing and glowing here together, correct? And, my mother, she had a hard time, but she was able to give me the best parts of her. And I think that's important to recognize because she did have a hard time. I did have a hard time growing up because of some of her choices, because of some of both parents' choices. And you know what? My kids had hard times because of my choices. So I'm not putting any blame there. There's a time when you get to stop blaming your parents because, well, you're an adult. And I learned that a little late in life, but I'm happy to say that I did learn that lesson. And I don't blame my mother for anything anymore. In fact, so much so that I know when she left this world, the last thing that I said to her was, I love you. And she was proud of me. She was happy with me. And she told me about a month before that she was happy with where her life was. This is all part of why I think she knew, but it's one thing I'll never know. She didn't tell me for a reason. And honestly, I understand because I am an only child of hers. She only had one. And I mean, I do have a half brother and 4 half sisters, and I love them all deeply. But it was me and my mom against the world for a long time, and she has put some amazing people in my life that I still have to this day, that I still can pick up the phone and call and say, I love you, Nita Ray, Karen, her sister. There's Judy Harris, my crazy aunt, and her sister, Melanie. And I know that there are people out there like my Aunt Angie and my cousin, her daughter, Michelle, that I can call in an instant and they'd be right there if I need. So, you know what? I'm okay. And Mama knows that. So I was glad to get to share this one with you today. All right. I think we've earned some laughs. So I'm kind of scared about doing this, but let's bring BB in to read today's Bless Your Heart letter. And listen, don't get any ideas while you're up here, chica, because, this is my show. Okay? So just get on up here and let's talk and be nice about it, would you please?
Wow, big emotions earlier. You sure you want to hand me the mic right now? Because I read very well under.
You now, chica. We'll go right ahead.
I'm just saying, clear voice, steady delivery, excellent timing. I could absolutely host this show. But fine, I'll just read the letter, for now. Dear B, my mother-in-law moved in temporarily to help our family. That was 6 months ago, and now she is still here with us. She unpacked faster than we did when we bought the house, and now refers to it as our home. She rearranged my kitchen because she couldn't find anything. I can't find anything either now, but apparently that's a me problem and not her problem. When I tell my kids no, they immediately go ask Grandma. She says yes, smiles sweetly, and then tells my husband I'm being a little harsh. My husband then comes to me and says, well, Mom thinks, and that's when I realized I am no longer the authority figure in my house. I'm just middle management. She gives the kids snacks and says, don't tell Mom, like I'm some kind of household cop. Yesterday, it was an actual pound of chocolate. A pound. Before bedtime. Just imagine the sheer quantity of that deliciousness right before sleep. Then when they're bouncing off the walls at midnight, she says, they just don't have a routine. Ma'am, you are the problem inside the routine. If I ask her not to do something, she doesn't argue with me. She reports me, straight to my husband, with notes, sometimes with examples. She signed the kids up for activities I didn't approve, changed my thermostat, and told guests where I keep things. I don't even know where I keep things anymore. At this point, I don't know if I'm married or if I've been adopted into my own family. I love her, but I also fantasize about hiding her car key. Signed, I love her butt. B, that letter was a lot. I handled it beautifully. Honestly, you're lucky I'm generous. I'll give the job back. Go on, I dare you. Try to impress them with your incredible skills, because I'm sure they're just on the edge of their seats, waiting for you to deliver a performance of a lifetime. For Wednesday, the one day a week where
No, let's stop that. You don't need to do that again. Oh my goodness. Chica, you got a little bit of sass in you. First of all, before we even get into this, don't get any ideas, VB. You read one letter clean and suddenly you're eyeing my seat like it comes with, I don't know, benefits. Everybody relax. I'm still very much employed here. Now, let's talk about what we just heard, because what this woman is dealing with is not help. It is not support. It's not somebody just trying to be kind. This is a slow, polite casserole covered takeover, okay? And it happens so quietly that by the time you realize it's happening, you're standing in your own house wondering when exactly you stopped being in charge. Here's how this always starts. Nobody ever moves in and announces, I'm about to undermine your parenting and destabilize your marriage. No, they say things like, you got a lot on your plate, or I just want to help with the kids, or I'll stay out of the way. And for a little while, it looks harmless. But then one cabinet gets rearranged, one rule gets bent, one it's fine this time turns into a pattern. And suddenly you're no longer the decision maker in your own home. You're just the person who lives there. Okay, the moment in this letter that tells me everything I need to know is when the kids hear no from their mother and immediately goes to ask Grandma. That right there is the turning point for me. Yeah. Because once a child learns that no is no longer final, that is just a first step in negotiation, the entire authority structure just collapses completely, right? Yeah. That doesn't make the kids bad. It makes them smart. If there's an appeal court down the hall that always rules in their favor, they're going to use it every single time. And Grandma knows exactly what she's doing. She's not arguing with you. She's not challenging you openly. She's smiling, saying yes. And then walking straight to your husband to report you like you're, I don't know, an employee who missed a deadline. That's not confusion. That's strategy. And the fact that it works tells me this situation has gone way past annoying and straight into dangerous territory for the relationship. Because let me say this clearly, especially for the husbands watching. The moment you come back to your wife and say, well, my mom thinks you're being difficult, you have officially left your team. Marriage is not a group project where outside opinions get voted in. You do not scold your wife in her own home because your mother is uncomfortable with boundaries. That's not keeping the peace. That's handing authority to the wrong person and wondering later why everything feels tense. Now let's talk about the don't tell mom snacks, because that one deserves some attention. Okay. That is not grandma being sweet. That is not bonding. That is sabotage with sugar. You do not hand children a pound of chocolate before bedtime and then stand there shocked when they are feral at night. Okay. That's not a mystery. That's science. And then to turn around and say they just don't have a routine while actively destroying their routine. Take a breath. I've got to. That takes a level of confidence I almost have to respect. Add in the thermostat. Okay, with me, straight, no, absolutely not. Don't touch my thermostat. My husband even knows better. The activity signed up for without permission, the guests being told where you keep things. Okay, that one that one doesn't bother me so much, but what you've got is not helpful relative. You've got somebody slowly rewriting the rules of a house that is not theirs. And at this point, you're not a wife or a mother. You're middle management expected to enforce rules that nobody respects, blamed when things go wrong, and stripped of authority to fix anything. Is that really, really what you want to do here? Seriously. Think about this, all right? Here's the part people don't like hearing. This will not get better if you just wait it out. It will not get better if you keep trying to be nice. It will not get better if you hope everyone magically understands how you feel. No. You are not dealing with misunderstanding. You are dealing with unchecked access, and unchecked access always turns into entitlement if it isn't addressed. Now, 3 things have to happen before this is to change, okay? And none of them involve yelling or being cruel. First, your husband has to choose the household, not you versus his mom, the household. That means shutting down the reporting system immediately. Parenting concerns do not get funneled through him like a complaint department. If grandma has an issue, it gets discussed with both of you or not at all, period. Now, second, grandma needs clear, visible lanes. She can love the kids. She can help when she's asked. She can spoil with permission, but she does not override decisions. She does not secretly countermand your rules, and she does not create little alliances that cut you out of the whole picture, okay? Pardon me. Love without boundaries is not love. It's control wearing a cardigan. Simple. Third, the kids need to see one answer, one voice, one authority, not because you're power hungry, but because children need consistency to feel safe. We all know this, okay? When rules change, depending upon who they ask, it doesn't just create chaos. It creates anxiety. And that anxiety always lands back on the parents. Seriously, never on the person who caused it, okay? Hey, Patty friend, how are you, honey? Good to see you, doll. I missed you. So I don't think this mother-in-law is evil, okay? I don't think she means harm, really, but I do think she's enjoying the control. And that's why this has to be handled now, not after another year of resentment builds up. Not after you explode over something small, and not after your marriage quietly erodes under the weight of unspoken anger. You are not wrong for being upset. You're not dramatic. You are not too sensitive. And listen, you're reacting appropriately to losing authority in your own home. Take your house back. Have the uncomfortable conversations, reset the rules. And if grandma doesn't like it, honey, she can be mad lovingly from somewhere else. And BB, don't get too comfortable. I handle hostile takeovers professionally. Do I still what? Sniff powder. That's adorable. That's certainly not me. Anyway, Bill the man, you're back. I remember you. Please be respectful. Okay, so now we're going to have a little break so that VB can get an attitude adjustment. Yay. Enjoy. I'm out of here for a minute.
She came from the quiet storms, built a fire from the ground, turned a whisper to a warning. Now her voice shakes the town. Every setback was a lesson. Every doubt became a key, unlocking something bigger. That's the rise of Boss B. When the lights go low, her vision hits high. She built a whole damn network off a promise and a try. Every sunrise, every moment, she's stacking legacy. This ain't just a channel, this is BBTV. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel road to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's the queen of the comeback, the storm in the stream, crafting stories out of heartbeats, making visions out of dreams. Got thunder in the hustle, got a voice that cuts clean. Every mic she touches turns the power unseen. So let further spin the numbers, let the views rise slow or fast. Boss B doesn't measure wins by echoes of the past. This moment is a pivot, this season's history. Bow down to the founder of the BBTV dynasty. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dream, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. She's got fire in the head, it's got truth in the frame, got a heart that won't retire and a gift you can't name. Every loop, every letter, every dream she sets free, it's a love note to the world sign. Boss B. And the world keeps watching as the numbers climb, but she's counting all the moments, not the dollar signs. From the late night grind to the daylight scene, she's building something bigger than the algorithm's dream. Boss B rising, BBTV shining. Her story's rewriting, a legacy in real time. Boss B rising, BBTV's igniting. Turn the volume up, yeah, the whole world's invited. From the gravel roads to the neon dreams, she built an empire out of broken wings. Boss B rising, sky ain't even the ceiling. When she hits go live, everybody feels it. BBTV, where the stories breathe. BBTV, where the dreamers believe. Boss B rising, watch her take her place. This is BBTV. This is her grace.
Join Boss B for Ask a Bee Monday through Friday, 12 noon Central Standard Time and Jukebox Journey every Saturday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time.
All right, we are back. That was a good break. Nobody's attacking you, Bill the man, honey. Nobody's attacking you, but don't come in here just jumping on questions and asking silly things and then yelling at other people just because they're not talking to you, okay? I do remember you. You were here last week. We had a little issue, so let's just be nice. We don't ask people if they sniff powder because people don't do that here, okay? You need to chill. Don't know who you are. Nobody's attacking you. Just be nice. Gotcha? Okay. Now, we're going to get back into this, please. So, this is gravel road. And I don't know. Could be laughing, but having an issue. But this next one lives a little further down the road. Some chaos. Same kind of confusion, just with feelings wearing a seatbelt this time. So this letter comes from a husband who is exhausted in a very specific way, not angry, not dramatic, just tired of being the human buffer between two grown adults who refuse to act like it. Okay. So you ever love two people and slowly realize they are never, ever going to get along, and somehow that's become your full-time job? Like, you didn't sign up to referee Thanksgiving, but here you are blowing a whistle in your own family. This one's funny, but it also, it's familiar. And by the end of it, hopefully you're going to feel real clear about why this man needs help before he loses his mind. Nobody's acting funny here. And you were just trying to talk about things we don't talk about here. So, Bill, chill out, please. Okay. Just listen or go find somebody that wants to chat, because everybody's here to listen. All righty. So, I guess we're going to bring BB back up and let her read the gravel road letter. I still have very, very big reservations about this chick, but let her go.
Writing because my father does not like my wife. He never has. He didn't like her when we were dating, when we got engaged, or when we got married. He tolerated her. Loudly. He calls her by the wrong name on purpose and introduces her as my son's wife like he forgot her name mid-sentence. He compliments everyone at dinner except her, then asks why she's quiet. When she talks, he sighs. When she laughs, he rolls his eyes. When she cooks, he eats and says, "Well?" My mother used more seasoning, sir. Your mother is still alive, so go ask her for the recipe, right recipe. He gives advice nobody asks for, critiques how we live, and then pulls me aside to say things like, you could have done better. Like I was shopping, not falling in love. Here's the problem. I used to defend her every time, but lately I've noticed she just smiles and lets it happen. She doesn't push back, she doesn't do anything. Because now my dad thinks his behavior is acceptable. He thinks silence means agreement. And I'm realizing I might have accidentally trained him by handling everything myself. But B, I'm gonna be honest, she's not perfect either. She vents to everyone but him. She waits until we're alone and uploads everything on me like I'm customer service. Family dinners feel like a hostage situation. My dad is rude. My wife is checked out. I'm sitting here wondering how I became the emotional middleman for two adults. I love my wife, I really do. But I am starting to resent my dad for being awful and my wife for letting it continue. I don't know who I'm supposed to be mad at anymore. Signed, who do I choose? This is truly a perplexing situation that requires careful consideration. BB, I could answer this, but then I'd actually be running the show, and that feels like a lot. I'll give it back to you. Handle it gently.
Chick! What is up with this chick? She's AI. She's trying to take my job. All right. Well, let's answer this one. First of all, BB, thank you for the assist. You can clock out now. And sir, the letter writer, okay, come sit by me for a minute because I need you to hear this without getting defensive. What you're describing isn't just family tension. It's not just my dad's old school or my wife's sensitive. What you're living in is a slow erosion of respect. And the reason it feels so exhausting is because you're standing in the middle trying to absorb the impact instead of letting it land where it belongs. Let's start with your father. Amen, Patty friend. Look, I'm going to put this one up because that is so true. This may sound mean, but just because you are related to someone doesn't mean you have to like them or even want to be around them. Amen. And I have a few of those. No, Bill the man, it is not because you're Black. And I would really appreciate if you didn't say that, because let me tell you, I don't see color. That's enough. That's what you said last week. That's what got me. Chill out or you're gone. Okay, dude? Thanks. Now, because yes, his behavior is absolutely out of line. You know what? I'm done. Sir, be gone. It's enough for me. There you go, Patty. Sorry, dear. He's gone. I was trying to be nice and give the benefit of the doubt, but he was back here last week asking about Black. And like I said, I don't see color. If I cut somebody that's not the same color as me, I guarantee you their blood comes out red. What does the color matter? Truly. Now, y'all get off of that because you're pissing me off. Sorry. I can't stand it. I can't stand that. When somebody comes up here trying to make me look like I'm racist. It's like, sir, do you know who I work with in the first place? And secondly, go somewhere else. Just go somewhere else. I'm going to let that go now. And VB, don't you test me anymore if you come back up here, lady. Okay, calling your wife by the wrong name. Dismissing her at the table. Sighing when she speaks. Critiquing her cooking and pulling you aside like you made a bad purchase instead of a lifelong commitment. Look, that's not concern. That's contempt. And contempt doesn't accidentally show up. It's practice. Your father doesn't have to like your wife. That's not the requirement. But he does have to respect her because when you married her, she became part of your household and part of you. And right now, your father is treating her like a tolerated accessory instead of a human being. And you, without meaning to, have been cushioning the blow instead of stopping the behavior. Now, here's where this gets uncomfortable for you. You're welcome, Patty friend. Well, we did speak to him, and the RZO looks awful familiar, Z2R. So let's not be rude and come in here. Yes, we were speaking to him, but he's also being disruptive. Okay, Tracy? Now, you said you used to defend her, and I believe you. I believe you wholeheartedly. But defending someone privately after the damage is done is not the same thing as setting boundaries publicly in real time. Every time you wait until later to smooth things over instead of stopping it when it happens, you teach both of them something. You teach your father that his behavior is survivable, and you teach your wife that she is on her own in the moment. And that brings me to her. Okay, because you're right. She's not handling this well either. Silence is not strength when it comes from self-protection instead of choice. So smiling, yes, I understand that. And he said that last week, and I was talking to him last week. We did discuss things a little bit. And I've also asked him and given him my email to write. And we can talk about any problems. But he can't come in here harassing my chat. And, there were things he said as well If you'd like to go back and read, I could probably unblock it, but that's not something I want to do right now. And if it's you coming back under somebody else, I would really appreciate it if you would just let me do my show, okay? I don't mind talking. I don't. Just don't harass my chat. Don't harass me. And don't try to stop me from doing my purpose here today. If you are depressed, I am very sorry for that. I truly am. In fact, I have a ticker just for you, okay? Because I do care. But something else I care about is the person that is writing this letter. They wrote it to me so I could talk to them about this situation. That's what I'm here to do. Okay? Okay? Can we let it go now? And I can, okay, I'm glad you're not him then. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I truly do. I'm not trying to be rude. And if you're not him and you weren't here before, then you don't know what the conversation was about last week, right? So you don't know exactly what this person is doing unless you're him sitting on the other side. And if you care to, you can go back to last week and watch the episodes and find that conversation and see where I was very nice. But this is the second time that he's come in to try and hijack my show, and where he's apparently, victorious in the moment. I'm not letting him take the whole show. Okay. I'm not trying to be rude to you or him or anybody else. This is my channel, my show, and this is the way I want to run it. Okay, bye. That was enough. Don't get rude with me. I'm not being rude, but you are being disrespectful, so just please go away. Okay, now that my tone is all nice and soft because I'm trying to be nice to people, and here we go, because he's probably going to come right back. We know this is still Bill the man, right? Tracy, still Bill the man. I can do this all day, if it comes up again, I'm just going to start banning, because I'm not playing this game. I've been in here for 42 minutes now talking about things that I want to talk about on my channel and on my friends' channels that like it too. So if you want to come back and cause some more chaos, expect to be banned. There's no question about it. Now, I'm going to start back here where I was trying to finish. Patty, I love you, honey. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm very sorry for the idiots that show up here. Yes, I said that. Now, smiling through disrespect, okay, doesn't make her the bigger person. It makes her invisible. And venting to everyone except the person causing the harm doesn't resolve anything. It just relocates the anger until it lands on you. Not cool. It's just not cool. So here you are, stuck in the worst possible role, emotional middleman. You're trying to keep the peace with your father while absorbing your wife's hurt and frustration. And the reason that you're starting to represent both of them is because neither one is actually doing their part. But listen, and carefully, because this is the pivot point. You cannot fix this by managing it better. You cannot fix this by explaining harder. And you definitely cannot fix this by choosing sides in your own head, where pretending everything's fine out loud. What has to change in this structure, not the personalities. Your father needs a boundary that is clear, calm, and consistent, not a lecture, not a blow up, a line, something as simple and firm as, Dad, when you speak to my wife that way, it's not okay. If it happens again, we will leave. And then, and this is the part people avoid, you actually have to follow through. And your wife needs to stop disappearing, not by fighting back or matching energy, but by reclaiming her voice. Okay? She doesn't need to perform strength. She needs to participate, because silence might feel safer in the moment, but over time, it teaches everyone else that she's optional. And you need to step out of the middle. You are not a translator, and you are not customer service. You are not an emotional shock absorber for two adults who refuse to address each other directly. Your job is not to make everyone comfortable, okay? Your job is to protect the integrity of your marriage. Hello, how are you doing? Good to see you, the boy Trey. Thank you for being here. So, and here's the hardest truth of all. I think you could be right on that one, Patty. Definitely trying to bring out that redneck in me, huh? Hey, that's what the Fork Wednesday is all about, right? Okay, so if this continues the way it is, it will rot your relationship from the inside out. Not because anyone is evil, not because anyone intended harm, but because unspoken resentment is patient and it collects interest. You love your wife. That's clear. You want your father in your life. That's also clear. But love without boundaries is just slow self-abandonment. So this is your moment, not to pick a villain, not to assign blame, but to decide what kind of husband you want to be when things get uncomfortable. So, because right now, everyone's waiting on you. All right, besties, I think it's time again. I don't know if I want to do this. Let's see if Phoebe wants to come back and try and steal my job just one more time. Okay. What is this show about? This show is about people who write in letters and ask me questions, all kinds of questions, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be. It's just my opinion, but my hopes is that somebody will find some piece of my offering and accept it as their own, and it helps them. So this show is about helping others. What the Fork Wednesday itself is about the craziness that goes on all week long. And, oh, thank you. Guess who's back? That's hilarious. You know what? Because every time somebody comes in here and puts a comment in my chat, they're supporting me. And do you know that makes people want to see me more and follow me more and click on my subscribe and my membership? So would you please just keep coming? I'll ban you. It's okay. I'll get your support first. No problem. All right. So, man. People make me mad. You know that you're amusing me. I'm telling you, this is amusing as hell. Anyway, we're going to bring Phoebe back up here. She's going to do a little promo for me, so y'all enjoy.
Right. She asked me to come back and handle this part, so here we go. I'm ready to take on the challenge. If you're enjoying this show, subscribing is the easiest way to support what's being built here on BBTV. You'll see the join button right next to subscribe. No pressure, no expectations, just an option for people who want to support the channel in a real way. We're live weekdays at 12 p.m. Central, and each day has its own focus. Same honesty, same voice, just different conversations depending on the day. And if you've got a story you want to share, send it in. Anonymous is always fine. All right, that's my part. I'll let her take it from here.
Unreal. Paco, that's not how that works. I know what you're doing. Get a life, man. So, yeah, that was my promo. All right, y'all, because this starting to get on my nerves a little bit, but besties, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right here. If you laughed today, thank you for laughing with us. If you felt something sneak up on you when you weren't expecting it, thank you for staying anyway. That's kind of the whole point of Wednesdays around here. We tell the truth, we find the funny, and we don't pretend life is neat just to make it comfortable. I appreciate every single one of you, even you, Bill the man. Paco, you're super chatted $100. That's not the way it works, but I really appreciate the effort. Okay. I appreciate every single one of you who shows up, drops a comment, shares a story, or just listens quietly while you're doing dishes or pretending to work, because that's what I do, apparently. Turn off the chat and just talk. I will listen. Oh, I love you, honey. Thank you, Patty. You're the best. See, that's why I do this, because I have people that actually want to hear what I have to say. Bill the man. Anyway, all right. This space only works because you bring your real selves into it. And I don't take that lightly. Okay. If you missed any part of today's show, catch the replay. If something hit a nerve, sit with it. Come back and get Bill the man if you want to. And if something made you laugh out loud at the worst possible moment, congratulations. You're doing Wednesdays correctly. Patty friend, thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that you love my insight. That is amazing, because honestly, I don't know anymore. But listen, y'all, we will be back tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central, for Ask a Bee. I'm not sure what we're doing for Thursday just yet, but same place, same time, different flavor. And don't forget Jukebox Journey on Saturday, okay? 8 p.m. Central, except the last Saturday, because that's We Be Jamming, and they do it way better than I do. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Set your boundaries. And remember, if life makes you stop and say, "What the fork?" you're not alone. I love y'all. Bye, Patty friend. Love you. Oh, was. I'm so sorry you made it just at the end, but it's good to see you again. Thank you for being here. Love you all.